Maybe we could all watch. We could all get into Blaseball together. we could have like a weekly Blaseball hangout or something.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind that when things slow down a little bit, like in December. That'd be pretty cool. I need to find some good primers.
I'm always up for a good, literally any excuse to spend time with friends these days. I will take anything.
We actually had a challenge that says, as someone who is craving some socializing, but whose brain decided I need a reason to hang out with friends, what are some things to do remotely with friends that isn't just Jackbox? And start watching Blaseball together and have like a weekly Blaseball hangout seems pretty good.
Yep. I mean, it's been easier than ever to get into tabletop role-playing games, especially with tools like one of the tools that I really like, Roll20 and D&D Beyond. Those are absolutely fantastic, and especially with quarantine and everything, it's easier than ever to find a group and start learning how to do a whole bunch of not just D&D, but a bunch of different tabletop games.
Yeah.
Cool. My Tylenol's starting to wear off. Great.
Ooh, you should re-up that.
Yep. Doing that now.
Speaking of D&D, I do run a D&D game remotely for some of my friends. Two of our volunteers who are actually not able to, two of our site volunteers, Rec and Brett, who don't have a site to volunteer at this year. They are two of my D&D players. I've also been, what else is there? There's, if you play Civ 6, they have a Pirates multiplayer mode that I've been playing with some of my friends that is absolutely fun. It's so much fun. Watching TV shows with your friends. Using Netflix, you can do some, you have to do the press go at the same time and watch along. But Disney Plus also has a group watch feature. That works really well, and that's a fun way. I've been watching Gravity Falls through again with one of my friends because she's never seen it before, and that's been a really fun experience. Getting to see somebody new experience a show like that.
Yep. Absolutely. I've done cocktail hours with friends as well.
That's a really great idea.
Yep. Everybody gets the same ingredients and then comes up with one cocktail to do for, with these 4 things or 5 things. Somebody makes a cocktail or a mocktail, whatever you're into, and then share it with everybody, and everybody kind of mixes it up and has a nice cocktail time to their personal level of comfort and inebriation.
Yeah.
Those are all excellent group hangout suggestions. So I hope that everybody finds those things useful. If you make some friends in the Desert Bus chat, ask them to watch Blaseball with you.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. You'll have a greater understanding of why Jalen Hot Dog Fingers is extremely clutch, I believe.
And you definitely won't get shelled or any of those other things. Those statuses definitely won't happen to you.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Let's see.
How do you play this game?
I don't. It's okay. Mechanically, I believe it's closer to Dwarf Fortress than baseball. You know what Dwarf Fortress is, Jacob?
I very much know what Dwarf Fortress is. Our friends over at Kickbox Games are publishing it. I'm sorry, Yizgrid Games' friends over at Kickbox Games are publishing the new version, and I have read an incredible amount of Dwarf Fortress lore, especially with and laughed some of the hardest I ever had in my life.
The best I've been able to figure out, it is a fantasy baseball game. So like fantasy football, where you're drafting and stuff like that.
Okay. So the mechanics of the game
are
fantasy.
No, it's like it's not like mechanically Dwarf Fortress, but you know how you just sort of like watch Dwarf Fortress happen?
Yeah, kind of.
Right?
Yeah. You set it up and then you hope for the best. And you're that guy's name is Bobo.
That's the sort of the mechanics, like Blaseball is betting on that sort of, right?
Yeah, but then you also use your influence to affect the rules of the game.
Yes.
So the more you bet, the more influence you receive.
Yes.
Because he
The
used
better you
game
bet.
development words that I understood, and then when I was like, "How do you play?" It was like, "Don't worry about it." Like, I don't know.
I'm honestly still trying to figure out how to play. I went to the site, I signed up, and I could not figure out, like, the site itself does not immediately present the lore to you.
Oh no, I got.
And that's what confused me. I don't exactly know where to go for the lore. It sounds from Andrew like maybe it's the Discord. That's maybe a great place to go.
So it's been explained to me that the Discord is a really, really good place to go. But I did. Excuse me, I ate way too fast. I'm full of the burpees. I did write down in my handy-dandy little notebook right here. They did give a couple of like, hey, here are some really good primers that people did. And a writer friend of mine on Twitter does some Blaseball stuff, but I'm like, I don't.
Kind of glaze past
Ugh.
because so many words don't mean words to you.
Yes, yeah, I'm like, I am happy you're happy. But everything that they've said about it being, narratively linked in kind of this emergent conversation and narrative and storytelling between the folks, like between the developers and the community, and it means enough to people to start bands about it and make 11 albums, and very, very good bands. That was holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Andrew suggests like, "Hey, I want to do a Seattle Garages causes," like, I don't know what this is. Listen to the music. Okay, let's go for it.
I'm in. I'm absolutely in. Like,
My closest experience so far has mostly been just asking friends who are into it to tell me their favorite stories. And I think that's a great way to kind of get yourself hooked if you aren't Jacob and you didn't just immediately drop into wanting this game from the music, which if you didn't, I'm confused. But that's okay. That's you. You can ask people for their favorite stories, and that's another great way to connect with it. But
cool.
I have no idea how to play. I am technically standing the Seattle Garages. I just don't know how to do that.
I'm excited to learn.
14 albums. Who do these people think they are? King Gizzard? Good grief.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Good Lord, that's a lot of music. But go check it out on Bandcamp where you can buy music.
I understood
Or
that.
apparently Blandcamp, because they are geniuses, and that's the best possible name. Blandcamp.com I saw going by as... I should double check that before I commit to it.
Am I to understand that Bandcamp, in order to direct people to the Garage's music, bought the domain Blandcamp in order to promote this thing?
I don't know if Bandcamp bought it, but I bet it was the Garages that redirects to their Bandcamp.
The Garages
I'm-
may have
I'm-
done that, and that is...
Yes, I believe that's what's happening. And it's beautiful. Someone has bought Blandcamp and redirected to the Garage's Bandcamp page,
That
which is...
makes the dark part of my business heart incredibly happy. That is... That is a level of emotion that I usually swear to express. That is fantastic.
I have a
How much
button
did they
for
have
that.
to pay for Blandcamp? You'd think that would be kind of an expensive URL.
Maybe no one ever sat on it. I don't know.
I
Like-
guess.
I
don't know.
managed to get Make Words Happen for surprisingly cheap.
I guess nobody wants their camp to be bland. Nobody wants to have a bland camp.
True. That's very true. Be like, what'd you do? Well, I opened up a nice summer camp, and, my name is Blasio, so I called it Bland Camp. Let's get that URL.
Blasio Grage.
Yeah. Blasio Grace. Oh, hello, new NPC in my D&D game. How are you?
He's okay. They're okay.
I love everything about today.
Wow.
What a good day.